First, I would like to thank the Family Resource Network of Ohio for letting share my story with you in a deeper way today. As I told you before, I am a self-advocate and a charting the champion, but I am also an artist. I have challenged myself to take charting the life course to the next level. I think I have done what no one has ever done with these tools. I struggle to process written information, so I took the tools and I made them into art pieces. I combined art, storytelling and charting the life course to advocate for my needs. Charting life course works because of the person-centered planning and community integration. What evolves from working with these tools is it helps you understand who you are, what supports you have, how you're connected to your community, and the resources around you.
Alicia, let's talk about the unique way you use charting a life course.
I took each domain's integrated support star and made it into a visual piece to show people what supports I have. Because often some supports don't always seem obvious, but they are still important to someone like me living my best life. The magic of art is that art speaks for me when I don't have the words to speak or the ability to explain myself more in depth. It helps me share my story and helps me be part of person-centered care planning. Visual tools give me a voice at the table in driving my future. For example, I use assistive technology a lot to support me both at home and in the community. The simple things like a hands-free drinking system to make sure I have water is technology to make sure I am more independent. This is not a traditional way to look at supports, but it is an important piece that allows me to be more independent. Another example is I use the public library for support around employment-related needs. I can access technology, use it as meeting space, access databases for research, etc. This may not be traditionally seen as a support by my team, but being at the library is not just something that allows me to be integrated into my community. The supports and resources at the library allow me to keep my job. The star also allows me to share skills and abilities that I have. Skills and abilities that are assets to build on or to use to contribute to an advocacy project or general employment. For me, all of these things are better communicated through art because I can use the piece to share things through a lens that sees me as a whole person and respects my autonomy. For example, I am in a program through Adult Literacy Ohio to improve my reading comprehension. I use the library to meet with my tutor to improve my reading skills. Through my experience with charting the life course, being able to identify the library as a resource hub for me allowed me to open the door to use the library as resource in improving my skills and abilities in reading. Charting the life course also taught me things like when people understand how I process, understand, and communicate, they are better able to meet my needs and see my autonomy. From all this I learned I am more visual processor.
Alicia, what do you hope to see and what's next for you with charting the life course?
Art tells a story and forces people to look at new ways people communicate. Just because someone doesn't speak doesn't mean they can't be understood. I know that there are others like me who may speak or may not speak at all but have a lot to communicate. Art is another way people can be heard in their planning. In fact, In my own journey, painting my integrated support star allowed me to work on communicating what support I have and what support I need in the future. It's more than asking people to look at art and interpret it. In the process for me was about sharing what I have already and asking that those supports be included in my Ohio ISP and sharing how people can best support me to use what I already have. I know the system is stretched and it is a time of uncertainty. As a champion, I know I have a responsibility to help people understand the tools in a visual way so that people can speak up for themselves. We have a generation of youth who love to draw and do art. This is an opportunity to take the tools and expand them so more people can be at the table. Art often reveals a deeper picture of someone's life other than the obvious. So, I hope that people will take these tools and step outside the norm. Be unconventional. Pull out your markers and paper and put inclusive practices in place. Include everyone in their person-centered planning and think about the places we go, but also the possibilities.
What do you want to challenge the folks here and others in Ohio to do based on your experience with using the tools and the framework?
My challenge has already been stated. It is, be unconventional. Think about the people you support and how they best learn, process and communicate information. What talent and abilities do they have that you haven't uncovered yet? You cannot serve people without knowing them. You cannot serve a person with a disability if you do not understand their needs and supports. You cannot understand a person with a disability if they cannot communicate with you. Person-centered is being intentional with your listening, knowing everyone communicates and being open to learning.
Anything else?
In fact, I brought some of my art today. I like to show you some of my work. The magic for me is using the art to tell my story. These art pieces act as storyboard for helping people understand who I am. Each of my stars has me somewhere in it with my giraffe Martha. There is more to me than that. When I said be unconventional, I meant it. We have to be creative to help people speak up for their needs. I did a star for employment and some of my things on my star include Braille, which is very important to me as many of my friends need this accommodation. Also, as someone who is visually impaired, that I need people to understand how I use Braille to connect to my community. I also use the Postal Service to mail art and a local job center and the library for resumes and small business tools. These things are unique to me alongside the array of other technology I use to help me brand myself as Audacity to speak on social media. The visual stars tell people what isn't obvious, but much needed in my journey to drive my life forward. Thank you for listening.